Good evening, viewers. Welcome to another edition of Community Corner here on ACTN. And I am sure you're going to enjoy this session because we are in a community and we are talking to a community man, a man who has given his life to the community by way of teaching young, old, middle-aged, everyone who is interested in learning the art of playing a guitar and music. And we have none other than Lennox Saunders. It's a pleasure, Lennox. Welcome to
Pleasure
ACTN.
is mine. Thank you.
Now, this is an interview where we want you to share with us, because why I want to start this way is because a lot of people you will hear who into music, they say they can't make a living or a livelihood out of music, but you have done it. But before we get into that, tell us about Lennox Saunders growing up.
Very good point to start, place to start. I was born in Hindustan Road, New Grant, and as a little boy, going to primary school, they always used to play the piano and allow us to sing. So at an early age, I heard music. And then my uncle used to play the guitar, and when he put down the guitar, I would pick it up and try different things. I also used to tune these little tin cups and play them like a pan. And I used to play the harmonica. And the first Christmas I got my harmonica, I was able to play carols and things. So music was always in me, but I just chose the guitar to express it. Now, I couldn't get a guitar till I was age 17 and working for my money in Port of Spain. Now, the story about this guitar is that I was traveling from Port of Spain to Mova, where I was living, and there were some guys from Lavantil in the back of the bus singing and playing guitar. And that thing was so heavenly that when they dropped out to go up Lavantil Hill, I also dropped out and walked along the hill with them and befriended them. And I ended up in 1970 getting an old guitar which had no keys to tune it. So I sold on some 5-cent pieces and I was able to tune it after bursting a lot of strings. Yeah, so Lavantil played an important part.
But what age did you realize that you wanted to learn, you really had the love and this is what you're going to do?
At an early age, you know. I mean, it was like fun. But then when I was about, I think in 1974, when I heard George Benson, I was greatly influenced.
Okay.
And I decided to, in 1980, I decided to just devote my life to studying the instrument and expressing myself musically.
So basically you are self-taught.
I am self-taught, yeah.
Now, that is interesting. When you say self-taught, you go up, I don't think those days had YouTube and all these other different
Not at
things.
all.
So how you go places and just sit and listen to people play guitar?
Well, I used to go to Rio Claro Secondary School, and the music teacher taught us some music theory.
Okay.
Now, while I was going to school, I didn't like the theory so much. But when I left school and started the guitar, I remembered some of the theory, and it played a great part in my development in that I was able to read music. So I got a little guitar book and start one string at a time and taught myself gradually. Basic stuff, and then I get interested in jazz and classical music and even pop music.
Did you go right into music or did you have your normal 8 to 4 job?
I had an 8 to 4 job for I had an 8 to 4 job for 10 years.
Yeah.
And at age 30, I just devoted my life to studying and playing and teaching.
That's it for work?
Yeah, that's it for normal work that normal humans have to do.
Was it a huge decision? Because I mean, okay, you're working, I'm sure you had a family to take care of, and you just decide, hey, I live in this work and I go down and take up playing guitar. Did you see at that time that this is what you pay my light bill, my water rate, put my food on the table and all these things? Did you have concerns?
Here it is. I so wanted to be a professional player that I stayed single for a good while. I met my wife when I was 31, and I started living on my own at 20.
Okay.
So during 20 and 31,
Yeah.
I used to practice like a madman. From work, I'd practice on the evenings until I started singing how I want to sing, because the comparison was what was playing on the radio.
Okay.
So until I could sing like that, I continued practicing, you know.
And then when you realized that you have accomplished what you wanted, then you started what, teaching or how?
Then I started teaching and checking out like places that may want entertainment, you know. It was kind of tough in the beginning, but when you love something and you realize your purpose in this life, you go for it, you know what I mean? You don't think about consequences. I just give my life to it and practice, you know. And I met people, singers who had no musicians, and I just fit in. Remember, that was the time without CDs and song tracks, so you had to play live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So it was a great opportunity for me. I work with a lot of calypsonians in live performances: Valentino, Brigo, Blakey, Zandoli, Pretender, Bomber. It was a pleasure to work with these guys who I used to hear on the radio, you know what I mean? And they wanted accompaniment because they had no song track in those days. They had to play live.
Yeah.
I remember one night I was playing in Golden Palace in Marabella, which incidentally is the first place I started to play professionally on Friday and Saturday nights. And somebody came and said, boy, we have a lot of calypsonians in a pub there and nobody to play for them. Could you come after you finish the gig? I said, yes. No music score, you just, your key, sing your key, and we go. Yeah.
Could you remember the first, well, you said Golden Palace was the first time.
Yeah.
You remember how much you were paid?
In those days, that was 1982, you know. It was 100, right?
So that was your first...
100.
Right, so I guess when you got married, you were already a self-employed musician.
Yes, and the wife was very supportive, and we get along very good, you know. I was able to go grocery and save and things like that, you know.
Now, before the interview, you know, you were talking about different things you were able to acquire just by you being a self-employed musician. You want to share that with us?
Well, I was able to do that because I was teaching every day, 7 days a week, playing out Friday and Saturday nights, and the money was bigger now, you know, so I was able to secure a loan to buy some land. Okay. Yeah.
So you was one of the musicians who could say, I did achieve something from music.
Definitely. And the interacting with other musicians and singers, and it was great. The thing about it, because there were no CDs, as I said, in those days and soundtrack, I realized that it had a place for me. Yeah, because I don't know, with the exception of one guy called Eugene Bass, I don't know of a lot of people who doing that, you know, who did that.
Who are some of the renowned musicians that over the years that you have played alongside?
Well, Francis Prime, Dennis Smith, the pianist, we played for 15 years, Dennis and I. And then he went on the cruise liners and he wanted me to go, but I was doing pretty good. Yeah, with my teaching and performing, that I didn't want to break that, you know.
Now, you have taught a lot of young students especially. I know you have taught older, mature people, but would you say that over the years you have played a major part in the younger musicians, those who now coming into the music to learn to play guitar?
Definitely, because it's 38 years I'm teaching now, you know. Well, 37. Yeah, since 1980. Yeah, and I taught a lot of people, and then I taught some of the children, you know. Yeah, it's so nice to walk in the bank and everybody, Mr. Saunders, or go in a ministry and say, you used to teach my children, you know, and that helped me in a lot of ways, you know, knowing people and things. Like,
during the years of teaching, you know, what would you say is your greatest accomplishment so far?
My greatest accomplishment in teaching is to see that you take children who know nothing and they blossom into players and things. That is a great fulfillment. There was an article on one of the papers written by somebody who was one of my students who went away, and he wrote to the papers and he was saying that that Mr. Saunders contributed a lot to his development. And recently somebody by the name of Eric Jacob, who used to play with the Air Force and different bands, he called me and he said, boy, Mr. Saunders, it's because of you I have strived to the greatness. And he's a professor in our university today. you know. He started very humbly. I remember we were on the same show, and after I played, he didn't want to go on the stage with his guitar. Yeah. And he said, I don't have any money for lessons, you know. And I realized he had something in him, and I say, you come and you don't have to pay. And I did that for a lot of people too. Because of the love and the gift that I have, I want to share. I don't want to keep it to myself. So I explored jazz, classical music. I even compose a lot of songs too. Yeah.
Would it be honest to say or to ask you if at this point in your life, if you have accomplished everything that you wanted to accomplish playing this guitar?
Of
or
course.
you are still, you know, learning or...
Of course, if a new tune come around, of course you don't know it, so you have to learn the tune, but you have the technique to play it, you know. I am totally satisfied with my development in terms of being able to play for people and play for myself, you know. Yeah.
Now, I am looking at your flyer here, recording, songwriting, live entertainment, guitar repair service, daily classes. On a given day, how many classes do you have?
Well, it depends, because Saturday is the day that most people could come. So, of course, Saturday is a very busy day. And sometimes on Sundays, and then like after school on weekdays, I have classes. Yeah.
Have you traveled a lot with this music, or basically it's local?
Local, because of my commitment to teaching. I just wanted to be there for people who want to learn. So I didn't want to go outside of the country because of that. Yeah.
What, in music-wise, what would you say is your favorite genre of music? Is it jazz? Is it pop? What? I know you teach everything, but there must be one closer to you.
Well, I like jazz because the possibilities are endless. The harmonic structure is challenging and different. Because a lot of pop songs have 3 or 4 chords, but in a jazz piece, you have more complex passages and change keys and improvisation. So, you know, every time you do the song, it's not exactly the same because you want to explore different possibilities spontaneously. Yeah.
No, but this job you're in, there's no retirement age. So, so that is out.
Yeah.
But at the end of it all, what legacy would you like to leave?
Well, the fact that I influenced a lot of people to pick up the guitar, and I was there for a lot of singers who had no backup over the years. As a matter of fact, there's one guy called Ricky Gibson.
Yes, Johnny and Ricky.
Yeah. I played with Ricky for the past 20 years or so. And we do a lot of shows. We used to play Hilton. We played casinos. Yeah, for many years. And the legacy is just that. The thing about it, when you could do something that you like and make a living of it, it's like heaven on earth. Yeah. Because I know a lot of people who say, boy, I'm doing this job just because I had to make some money. But when you could enjoy what you're doing and make money from it, is a great achievement.
I'm sure when you were going to leave your job to do this, I'm sure that there were a number of people who say, Saunders, you're mad. The single word.
Definitely.
Tell me about that.
Definitely. Because the thing is, the fact that is that I told few people. And the day I sent in my resignation, which is like 38 years ago, I didn't wait for them to open it because I know what they was going to say. And I used to do my job. I used to be a fabricator. I used to do it good. Yeah, but that wasn't motivating me in life too much, you know. And then I must thank my wife, who is deceased now, of 27.5 years. She supported me immensely. Yeah.
But I know that during that journey, there must have been challenges, you know. How did you handle these challenges? You know, how did you maneuver this? Did you have like moments where you say, boy, I wonder if I do the right thing by leaving my job?
You know, in life, we always say things are permanent, including our job. We say, I have a permanent job. Nothing is permanent in this life, in this world, you know. We all pass through phases. Now, the thing about it, I never regret it. In the beginning, whatever I make that do. And as I said, I stayed single for between 20 and 31. Then I met my wife. So I make all the necessary adjustments during that time. When I met my wife, I don't think I was ready for that kind of relationship, but she worked out pretty good. Yeah.
Now, songwriting, did that come before the actual learning to play the guitar, or that came along because of the playing of the guitar?
Songwriting, I used to get a lot of nice philosophical thoughts, but I never write them.
Was that through playing the guitar?
No.
Okay.
But probably had some connection. Art have some kind of interconnection. I used to get these thoughts, philosophical thoughts and things. And I never write them down. And then I started, the first song I actually write was a song called Traffic Jam Blues, which is a song that is very current. Although it was conceived in 1981, today it's even a better song in the sense that we have more traffic, we have more cars on the road. And the reason why I wrote that song is because I was coming from Marabella to Coquille, and I find like it was taking ages to reach, and I decided to write a song called Traffic Jam Blues. And everybody liked the song. Old people, younger people, children like Traffic Jam Blues.
Could you remember that?
Of course,
Could
of
I hear
course.
something from it?
Yeah. Traffic Jam Blues. I've got the traffic jam blues, and I can't reach the work on time. I've got the traffic jam blues, and I just got to stay in line. You see, I'm never early, I'm always late. Can't reach in time, even for a date. I've got the traffic jam blues. Keys blowing my mind, oh yeah. And even yesterday when I tried to drive up the street, I could have gone faster if I'd used my own 2 feet. Yes, I would, 'cause the traffic jams really had me blue. And boy, you know that's nothing new. I've got the traffic jam blues. Keys blowing my mind, oh yeah. You see, traffic jam blues is the way you feel when you are stuck behind your wheel. You want to go fast, but you got to take it slow. Keeping you cool is the way to go. I said traffic jam blues is the way you feel. A little frustrated without any zeal, but I know that you ain't no fool. You must obey the traffic rules. You're stuck in traffic for half the day. Your boss man says he's gonna cut your pay. You've got the traffic jam blues. Keys blowing your mind, oh yeah. We've got the traffic jam blues. East, west, north and south, isn't that true? We've got the traffic jam blues, so you know what I'm singing about. When you're stuck in traffic for all day long, all your plans turn upside down. You've got the traffic jam blues. Keys blowing your mind. You've got the traffic jam blues. Keys blowing your mind.
Well done.
Thank
Now, is there any one guitarist that you mentioned George Benson?
Yeah.
But is he one of your major influence in playing guitar, or do you pattern on other guitarists?
He was one of the major influences. In the early days it was like Jose Feliciano, Glenn Campbell. But as far as contemporary guitar players, jazz guitar players, George Benson in around 74 had a great influence on me picking notes, in jazz. Although I always liked jazz, I like big band song from since the days of like Frank Sinatra and those guys. I like big band, you know, it have a nice groove. Yeah.
Who are some of the people now that when you look back now, you want to take this opportunity to say a special thank you to for already taking you through this journey, standing with you, you know, well, and who you can safely say I, Lennox Saunders, could depend on these people?
The strange thing about it, the people who I met through music, it might be businessmen, it might be teachers, it might be people in government, you know, and things like that, that I used to teach or play for in different functions and things. Those are the people who I want, nobody specifically, you know.
Yeah.
And all the students and the people who had, the Calypsonians who came by me from the South End from since the early days. Yeah, I must say thanks to them. Kaiso Showcase, I was there in the inception before the tent get that big, you know. I remember one particular night, the brass men didn't get paid and they didn't come. And I went with my guitar and my drum machine and we carry on the show because I didn't want it to flop. So the thing is, when I was doing this music, it wasn't for me alone, it was to share. Okay. It was to share. And I think the other day I went by somebody and I said, boy, I want to have some workshops for people who doing basic guitar and who want to improve. And he said, what are you doing that for? Why don't you study about yourself? With me, it's not about self, it's about sharing with other humans. We live, we coexist in this world. So, you know, we are interdependent. You know, as the saying goes, no man is an island. So my music is not for me alone. So the next thing he said, boy, if I could play like you and I show off, boy, it's not about showing off. It's about making people happy on different occasions. It might be Christmas, it might be a birthday, an anniversary, a wedding. That is my role in this life.
Do you think the musicians of today are in this for the love of it, like what you are doing, or is it for that pay package? That's why you hear people today, you will hear people say, but the music is not like long term anymore. What's your take on that?
My take on that is that the people who are doing excellent work today is people who have been there for many years in the vineyard, right? Who have studios over the years that are established. The modern people, because of the computer, they're probably not as creative as some of the older folks who had musical experience, you know. That is not to detract from their efforts, because we had some great things. But the thing is, because of the electronics, you see, you could buy electronics, you can't buy a brain, you can't buy experience. Yeah? Yeah.
And today, to me, the music is easier today because they have machines that could give you certain notes, give you certain songs. Where long time you have to be creative. There's a natural song.
Yeah.
If we have to say this in this era here, we don't have natural song music. We have equipments that produce music.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, when you sit down now in your quiet moments and you reflect, if you had to do this all over again, would you change anything? Would you do it the same way?
I wouldn't change anything. The only thing I would say, I'd be a little more thrifty. Because when the money was flowing, I used to spend it.
Well, I guess
not that I used to say,
never used to save life, we go through that.
Yeah.
We go through that until we, you know.
So a partner, when I was telling him about that, he said, boy, don't lament about that. Consider that you pay for experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you would like to share with us before we wrap up? And I hope that you can take us out, you know, on a piece of jazz, because that seems to be one of your favorite type of music.
What I must say, boy, is that I like to wish the country all the best for the future, and there are very positive youths out there, although we might get on the news most of the negative by those who are, you know, in the minority. But there are a lot of youths who are doing good things musically, educationally. So So I like to say, parents, today, be more mindful of your children's attitude and direction, right? Now, I want to play a little piece that I haven't recorded yet, but it was influenced by certain things that was happening in Laventil and the Beatum and so forth. It has a jazz influence because of the types of chords I'm using in the song. It's a troubled world that we're living in, and the good book says once you're human you will sin. But things could get better if we cut the evil ties. For all I see is worried faces when somebody dies. We need more love in the world. Love can calm your restless soul. We need more love in the land. This I hope you really understand. Then we could be the guiding lights to stop all the killing and the senseless fight. We need more love in the world for every boy, every girl. Young men, you may think that fate has dealt you wrong, but that ain't no reason to pick up a gun. Focus on the positive and think about your future. There should be no reason to kill one another, 'cause we need more love in the world. Love can calm your restless soul. We need more love in the land. This I hope you really understand. Then we could be the guiding lights to stop all the killing and the senseless fight. We need more love in the world for every boy, every girl. Mothers are still crying, their hearts twisted with pain. For all of their struggles, shame is all they gain. But they got to keep on praying, they cannot despair. Maybe someone out there will listen their prayer, 'cause we need more love in the world. Love can calm their restless soul. We need more love in the land. This I hope you really understand.
You know, you can join us every Thursday morning at 10:30 on ACTN, where we will bring you something of importance, something of importance coming out from our communities, because there is so much negative things that come out of our sweet country right now, and the positive things, the things that people are doing, the true community leaders in our community are not being recognized. And that's what we did here today by featuring Lennox Saunders on this program. So we hope that you'll continue joining us as we continue visiting the different communities and bringing you a positive side of our community, Trinidad and Tobago. Stay tuned. See us next Thursday, same time.